Welcome to Nerd Barrage, I'm Matt. A few months back, one of our friends turned us on to a guy that makes stormtrooper helmets, but with a twist. This is Cameron.
And these are the helmets you've been looking for.
Cameron, what was your inspiration to combine stormtrooper helmets, or stormtrooper-inspired helmets, and a sports theme?
Well, it all started when I made my stormtrooper costume a few years ago. And as I was researching how to make the stormtrooper armor, I saw someone that painted their stormtrooper red in an Adidas kind of gangster style stormtrooper armor. And I got to thinking, some people are painting these. What if I did maybe like a red and a blue? And it reminded me of, Kansas Jayhawks. I made a Wichita State helmet, a K-State helmet, and a KU helmet, and it just kind of picked up from there.
Would you consider yourself a bigger Star Wars fan or a bigger sports fan?
It's a really hard question for me because growing up in high school I did play sports, so I do have a love for sports. But when I was old enough to figure out what I really like on my own, I started watching the 1990s X-Men cartoon on Fox, and that really was my first step into my nerdism. As you know, obviously I really got into Marvel, and that just kind of picked up from there. So your answer is, I am more knowledgeable in Star Wars, yet I also like to watch sports, so it's about 50-50.
What other projects have you worked on?
Well, my very first project, my brother Grayson Barger from Opticology Eye Care, he wanted to make a Yip Yip alien from Sesame Street. They're the little crazy aliens go yip 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 yip. Those guys. We made a whole bodysuit out of fabric, and that was our first. And I got a lot of good reactions, a lot of compliments. It was a really fun time. So then the next Halloween, I decided to do a Spaceball costume. The guys with the white ping pong. Once again, a lot of good reactions. Everyone was loving it. So then the next year, I met my girlfriend, now wife, and we decided to do the Power Rangers. She was the Pink Ranger and I was the Green Ranger. After that, I made a Superman costume, and then the Stormtrooper armor, and then after that was Iron Man.
And no formal college or schooling?
If YouTube was a college, and that's the one I went to.
YouTube.
All YouTube, yes. Great place. Love the internet.
I was looking at your Green Ranger helmet, and you've come a long way.
When I really first started into armor and helmets, I did my research, and I did a clay sculpture of the Green Ranger helmet, just looking off images off the internet. Did the best I could, and I used a rubber mold off of that clay sculpture. You'll find out you're going to mess up a lot. And when I found out that clay and rubber mold do not mix, you get air bubbles, and we get something like this. This is my first casting helmet. Obviously, it left a lot of air bubbles and dents, and then I found the wonderful world of Pepakura, which is paper crafting or paper modeling. There's a huge support system on the RPF online, the people doing Pepakura. If you have any questions, that's where I found out everything. A lot of helpful people out there to help you out with your fandom. After learning about Pepakura, I did a process where you make your paper helmet. You want to make your paper helmet rigid. You don't want it flimsy, so you have to harden it with fiberglass resin. Then you apply Carbondo on top of that to smooth it out. You sand it, apply more Bondo, sand, smooth, sand, and smooth. Very long process, very tedious, but you keep at it. And this is my first Sports Trooper helmet. Completely made out of fiberglass and Bondo. So obviously you can't wear this at all. It's very dusty and very sharp inside, so you have to make a cast off of this. I made a mold out of silicone rubber this time, and not on clay. It's on fiberglass, so there's no chemical reactions. In your mold, you case it with a fiberglass, a mold jacket is what you call it. So the mold keeps its form. Then you pour your polyurethane resin inside that mold, slush it around. Before an hour or so, you take your mold off and you have a plastic replica of this right here.
Have you run into any licensing issues?
I have not, fortunately, but I have gone through the right channels to avoid such a thing like that. My helmets are by any means not screen accurate. They're not 501st approved. It is actually my own art. This is basically fan art, which you can get away with making fan art based off of the Star Wars genre. The colleges are a lot easier. WSU is my alma mater, so this is one of our top sellers, and I do have a license with WSU. For other colleges and other sports teams, it's a bit trickier because there's many licensing companies with each team. So what I can do, I can paint it the colors since they don't own the rights for K-State purple and silver. They don't own the colors. However, if you do want to put the logos and mascots on the helmet yourself, or have me make them for you and send them to you, that's something that we can do to get away from licensing issues.
How much do the Sports Trooper helmets run?
Well, that depends on what you want. Some people just want a classic white Stormtrooper helmet. That'll run for about $100. Your sports team themed ones, where I actually have to paint and sand, those run for $125. If you want a customized one, like I did last year, a lady wanted me to make a hot pink silver Stormtrooper helmet.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I think are a lot of fun. It really spreads my creativity.
Sure.
Those can range from 150 and above, just depending on what you want. Just last week, I had someone on Etsy ask me if I could make a Darth Maul Stormtrooper hybrid helmet. And I told him it's going to take me some research, but I can do it, but it is going to take a lot more time to be perfect.
Yeah, that's a lot of detail.
A lot of detail,
Holy
yes.
crap.
I'm really excited, though, to make it.
Where can they order them from?
You can find them on eBay. You can get them on Etsy also, all named Sports Troopers. And the most popular way is through my Facebook page at Sports Troopers.
Cameron, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming to my nerd room.
Awesome work, man.